That's all right. I'll understand if you don't. I like to think I'm memorable, but you know. So before you go into the courts building today, I'd like to introduce you to Stephen Long from Architectus, who worked on the project long before I was even at Architectus, and just I thought we'd point out a few of the things that you might like to look at when you're inside that are different about this building, and that make it a great building, we think. Stephen.
I'll start with just actually where we are right here. So one of the drivers of this building was the urban design. So we've got Tank Street Bridge here and Tank Street. So we saw this as a really important axis through the city and maintaining a view up to the parklands. And actually, historically, right in this on this very site was the actual water reservoir for Brisbane. So there was a reservoir here, and then the creek sort of fed down through into down towards Creek Street. So there's a long history on this site, but we, in the competition phase for the building, we pulled the building back to make this new plaza, which is actually one of the first new additions to the sort of public space in Brisbane for quite a while. So that was a key move strategically. And then the other thing is the building is an L shape, and so the northern side of the building, all the public spaces, all the foyers on the north side of the building, you get some really nice daylight, but also to look out over the parkland. So it doesn't matter what floor you're on, if you're someone coming in here for a court case, or if you're a judge on the top floors, you're always, when you come out of a lift, you're always looking out to the north and taking advantage of those views. So that was a really key strategy that's flowed right through the building, except for down lower grounds, obviously. There are a couple other features about the building. It's stacked horizontally as well. So we have down on the ground floor, we have sort of interface with the court. So if people are coming in, there's a registry counter down there. So it's all the kind of public interface. Then we have the court levels from level 3 to level 9. We have some plant. We have the library, and then going up to the upper levels of the chambers, which are the office, basically the offices for the judges and their associates. The building has an interesting facade. It's a double-skin facade, so we manage light. As you'll see when you go inside the buildings, I'm not sure if you're going into actual courtrooms, but all of the courtrooms have access to natural light, so there's views from the courtroom, but there's also daylight coming in. So we manage that with a double-skin facade. So we can shade the facade. There are drop-down blinds externally, and there are drop-down blinds internally that are all computer controlled. Another feature of the courts is that the courts are all on a raised floor. So normally you have all your air conditioning ducts and your lighting all in the ceiling. All of our air conditioning is below you in the floor. So you'll see timber floor tiles. If you don't do this, but if you went like that really hard, you'd feel that it's not a concrete floor. It's actually a timber tile over a metal and cement tile. So it's about that deep. And all of our ductwork is there. And the reason for that is we wanted a really clean ceiling, and we exposed all the concrete in the ceiling. So there's not even any lights in the ceiling. The only thing in the ceiling is fire sprinklers, and all the lighting is handled on the edge of the rooms. The other feature of the whole building is that we've used the same materials through the whole building, so there's no hierarchy of public down here and the judges on top and different qualities and finishes. It's the same finishes for the public as for the judges, as for the librarians, and the key materials are concrete, express concrete, plywood and glass, really the key materials that we're working with. And the idea of the plywood is that it's panelised material. It's relatively cheap, but it brings a lot of warmth into the courts. And one of our briefs for this courtroom was to make courts feel transparent, or the process of justice to be transparent, but also for the court building to feel calming and relaxing. Obviously, a lot of people are undergoing a very stressful process, so to make the courtrooms as relaxed as possible goes a long way to helping that process. So expression materials are part of that. What else? Artwork. So there's 3 key art pieces in the building. There's this one out here by a Japanese artist with the eyes looking back at courts. When you go through the building here in the foyer, we have a mural painted directly onto the concrete. So the contractors actually built a scaffolding up into the space specifically for the artist, and then she had a mobile scaffold and moved that around to paint the ceiling. And then in the Banco court, which I'm not sure, are you going to Banco? There's also an Indigenous artwork, again painted directly onto the concrete, so that'll be there for a long time. So enjoy your visit. I think the key thing to look at is the way we've used natural light, how you can get natural light, maximise natural light into buildings and views from the building to the outside. So I hope you have fun.
Going to see you up at Architectures after lunch.
So you went through with us, so you guys might not know. Okay, no worries. Well, good morning, everybody. My name's Rebecca. I'm a fourth-year arts law student at the University of Queensland.
I'm Phil. I'm a sixth-year law student at the University of Queensland too.
So what we're going to be doing this morning is giving you a tour of the courts building. We're going to be having a look at level 1, or the ground floor actually. We're going to have a look at our Sir Harry Gibbs Legal Heritage Museum, and you'll see the artwork by Gemma Smith painted onto the ceiling over there. Then we're going to have a look at level 3. Level 3 is where the Banco court is, and it's also where there's a courtroom on level 3 as well, which we'll have a look at. And finally, we'll head up to the library and have a look at the library as well. Because there's so many of you, sorry, I'll just speak as the lecturer. Because there's so many of them, would it be better if we split up into 2 groups?
Yeah, let's do that.
Is that okay? Yeah, because there's so many of you, we might split up into 2 groups. One group will go with me and the other group will go with Phil. And one of us will go up to the library first, the other group will stay on the ground floor first, and then we'll swap over. So everyone will get to have a look at all the different parts of the building. Anything else you need to add?
No, I think that's all for now. But first of all, we're going to have to take you through security. So if you could just go through that door and just line up in a single line. Put all your belongings in the white boxes. Can I just ask first, does anybody have any sharp objects on them?